How's it going, everybody? Brandon McCaskill here with Momentum Monday here on Momentum Canada. I hope you're having a good start to your week. Monday afternoon, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do this every single week. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. We get up to a lot on this channel, from uploads to live streams, anything to do with Canadian politics we try to cover. So it's been a year. It's the anniversary. Well, yesterday was the anniversary. The 29th of January. I know a lot of people were down in Ottawa celebrating. And so I wanted to kind of obviously celebrate a year anniversary, since I would argue the biggest movement this world has really ever seen. Well, I suppose that's debatable, but definitely in regards to the size of a convoy. It was record-breaking size convoy, that's for sure. But I'm hoping later in the stream, there's a young gentleman. I shouldn't even say young because he's older than me. But John Mallett, he might be joining us on the stream later. We plan on bringing him as a regular contributor to Momentum Canada, but we're just going to try to ease him into the streams. He was on the Brook stream last Wednesday, so I was going to have him on today. So he might join us today. We'll see how it goes. I'll just keep my eyes open for the messages, but until he comes, it's just going to be me and you guys. So leave your comments below. Why don't you guys share with me your favorite moment during the trucker convoy last winter? I would love to hear your guys' memories. Like, what do you think about when you think back? I know there's still a lot of frustration. The battle's still going on with the government and just trying to secure our freedoms. I understand that's still a thing that we're still trying to what's the word? Secure and maintain. So just let me know what you think about when you reminisce of all that's gone on in the past year. So I'll let you guys do that, and I'm just going to take 1 minute to mention our sponsor, because we're not government sponsored, so we got to do this for the people that put their support behind it. So here we go.
Are you feeling run down and constantly getting sick? Are you struggling to bounce back post-pandemic as quickly as you used to? If so, you may be experiencing a depleted immune system. Fortunately, there is a solution. It's called Ancient Immunizone with Adaptogen from the JVJ DNA company. JVJDNA.com's founder has developed a new immune-boosting supplement specifically designed to support and strengthen your immune system, helping you to feel your best and stay healthy. His supplement contains a unique herbal formula called Adaptogen. Adaptogen has been shown to support optimal immune function. With regular use, you can expect to see an improvement in your overall health and well-being and shake off the post-pandemic blues. So why wait? Start supporting your immune system today and take control of your health. Try the JVJ DNA Ancient Immunizone with Adaptogen and see the difference for yourself. And don't forget, you can use promo code FIT24 and save yourself 10%. That's FIT24 for 10% off any order at the JVJDNA.com web store.
Awesome. Right on. So we got Linby in the chat here. Yeah, guys, throw your comments here. We're just going to have a conversation today, just reminiscing on the trucker protest. I'm going to kind of share with you some of the things that I want to share with you. So we'll get into that in a few minutes. But Linby says, seeing children playing and behaving like real children in the bouncy castles was my favorite piece of the protest. It was so heartwarming and encouraging. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites, seeing kids involved. And I know that was something that the media tried to use against the truckers, saying they're using kids as pawns, like as if they were like terrorists hiding behind women and children, which was just utterly ridiculous. It was that was part of the moments that would bring a tear, at least in my eye, seeing kids there and just families being together. I thought that was a really, really cool thing. But yesterday, and you're going to have to bear, I always say this, you got to bear with me because I don't have a producer. I'm my own producer. So I'm going to bring up a post that I made. This was, I think it was, had to been the third, actually, I guess the post that I'm going to share will have a date on it. So I actually can get an accurate date for you. Just give me 1 second here. This was a prediction that I made in regards to what would happen, what would go down in the protest. So let me find it here. It's on Facebook, and I post a lot on Facebook. Here we go. This is it. All right, so I'll blow this up, and then I'll share it with you guys. And then I'll get to your comments. Yes, here it is. All right. So I posted this on January 26th. Okay, so it was 2 days before. So that would have been the Thursday, right? The Thursday of January, before everyone landed in Ottawa. So I went to Facebook and I said, here's my bold predictions for the trucker convoy headed to Ottawa. I've already seen the censorship happening online. Almost every post I've shared this week has gotten flagged and removed, violating Facebook terms of service. Imagine that, sharing patriotic Canadians supporting a peaceful protest. I've already seen the media trying to slant this as a terrorist white extremist group. I've already seen them trying to undermine the leaders of the convoy. Bottom line is, we know they're dirty, and dirty people are just going to keep being dirty. So much dirt. All right, but more specifically, this is what I'm guessing will happen, although I'm not a prophet, so we'll see how it all plays out. I think it's possible that truckers will be prevented from entering Ottawa. I'm not sure how they'll stop thousands of trucks, but I think there's a possibility for roadblocks and possible military involvement. But if the truckers make it in safely and park where they plan to, I anticipate some sort of interference with Antifa or similar groups looking to stir something up. Maybe even some people who aren't with the convoy that will try to rile people up to storm the Capitol, in quotations. If not something like this, they'll do something that will give the media just enough ammo to paint these truckers as enemies of Canada. I just have this weird feeling that the dirty people are up to something. I could be wrong, but that doesn't happen often. So that was my predictions. And so how accurate was that? I mean, it wasn't 100% accurate, but I think that was pretty close. So Kelsey Lenan says, Operation Jerry Can. Yeah, love that. It was a great example of working together to overcome obstacles. Yeah. There was one video. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was like, well, there's multiple videos of this giant crowd of people walking jerry cans, and there was like this bagpipe music playing over top of it. And it was just like, and man, bagpipes are near and dear to my heart because my dad plays them. But it just, brought tears to this big ogre over here. I love that. Pinto Sax says, knowing that there were a lot of others out there that think like me gave me some hope moving forward. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what resonated with so many people. I know for me, and Jeremy McKenzie was actually the first person. I saw one of his videos float around online. I was just like, who's this guy? And he's talking about truckers coming. Like, what's this all about? I started listening to him, and he was saying how they're coming across from the West. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. Like, it's gonna peter out. Nobody's gonna talk about it. And but then I was wrong, like within the first 20 minutes after watching that, because I started seeing more people talking about it. And then from there, it just like snowballed. And then then it happened. So that's kind of, Jeremy McKenzie was the first guy that I heard it from. Len B says, the Jerry Can parade was epic. Yes. The convoy and this channel saved my life. Oh, really? It all gave me so much hope for positive change. Cool. Then the dirty turd pulled his magic and destroyed it all with his toxicity. Yeah, so I'm going to address, I made a video because I was just hanging out with my boy yesterday. I made a video just asking a question, and I was talking to people that are fence riders. I always try to talk to people who aren't sure. And someone asked me this, why do you care about fence sitters? They made their choice. Well, because some of them are in my family. Some of them are in my community, people that I do care about. And I know there's that's something I think everybody can relate to. There's someone that you care about that's still just on, maybe they're not even on the fence, they're just blinded. So I'm always trying to appeal to those people. And I've been doing that since the very beginning of the that was like one of the first videos I did, was like, I'm inviting people to come, if you have problems with the trucker convoy, tell me what your problems are, and I'll give you some better answers to put into your brain. But so I made this video yesterday, just giving a scenario, because I wanted to highlight to people who has the better reason here. Is it Justin Trudeau? Because he hammers down on the fact that, I did what I could as prime minister to protect Canadians. And so he puts on this facade of him doing the best he can as Canada's leader. But then I just go into the perspective of the people that he hurt, the people that he silenced. And one of my points I made was that he was a finite person. Now, I don't judge people for not knowing everything, but if he was a little humble about it and listened to dissenting opinions, I mean, that's, for me, I know it's unpopular opinion, but that's why I like Donald Trump. He seemed to be a guy that was good at allowing people to critique him. Now, as prideful as he was good at putting different people around him that had skills. And I think that's the sign of a good leader, when you can admit that you don't know everything, when you just don't go. I know there's mistakes Trump did make in response to the pandemic, particularly, even allowing Dr. Fauci. I don't even need to go into that. I don't want to get censored here, but that's my point. I think there's so much value in just being open-minded and admitting that, sometimes it's okay to listen to, even if it's a fringe minority, listen to what they have to say, because odds are, even throughout history, we know most times it was the fringe people, this whole 97% of scientists agree thing. Well, I want to know what that 3% thinks, because for some reason, they're bold enough to put their careers on the lines to have a dissenting opinion. So I want to know what that opinion is. Excuse me. Lynn B says, fence sitters have not made up their minds yet. That's why they're considered to be on the fence. Sometimes all it takes is one fact to make them choose either good or evil as their guide. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's all it's got to take is for them to really take a hit personally. And I've seen that. I've known people personally, and you guys have probably known people personally too, that were at one point just die hard, roll up your sleeve, do what the government tells you, and they put their full faith into the government, believing that they were just doing what was right. And then almost 180-degree turn. These same people are now fed up. They're saying enough. I'm seeing this all the time. I don't know about you guys, if maybe you're not, but I'm seeing that. And I think there's a lot of people that don't know how to navigate that. They don't want to be labeled a fringe minority. They don't want to be labeled or whatever the names we've been called over the past year. They want to show dissent, but they're just unsure. They're unsure of who to trust, because even, I don't know about you guys again, but I've seen division on the freedom side as well. I mean, with the different infiltrations of what's been going on, and I'm trying to stay clear of the drama. I'm trying to just be that guy who just doesn't side with anybody. Well, I side with people who are for freedom in general, but I try not to be so clicky. You know what I mean? I think that's a smart approach to take. But people, I see people trying, and they're dipping their toes, and you can kind of tell by the content they share, and that some of the, because I'm on Facebook and a lot, and I watch these people, how they interact, and versus how they used to act before. And I'm starting to see, like, they're sharing. I'm like, oh, like that's something I would have shared. Ooh, like you're getting risque, right? So Vikram Singh says, the protest of 2022 winter was one of the most amazing things to happen to Canada. It exposed the corruption at the very top. That's what really That's what's really destroying our economy, folks. 100%. And yes, it was the most, yeah, I agree, most amazing thing to happen in Canada. Just, yeah, worldwide attention, worldwide inspiration. I mean, how many, I think I lost count of how many countries took to our example and started their own convoys. By the time I stopped counting, it was like, I think 27 different countries that were doing it. So it's like we made the news. It was really, really awesome. Lynn B says, I haven't trusted the government since roughly the age of 4 or 5. I've always known they are corrupt. So what's that, about 20 years for you? I'm kidding. Me and Lynn we're good pals. We can joke, but I'm not joking. Louis says, go and lock. Jody Wilson Raybold's book is an eye-opener. Read The Power Grab and Government Indian in the Cabinet. Oh, interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Great to have you, Louise. I don't think we've had you in the chat before. Pinto Sack says, most Canadians are very trusting and complacent, so much so to their own detriment. Yes. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's what I'm seeing. People are offended that their trust was thrashed against the rocks, because we're very trusting people. I mean, we're the country that doesn't necessarily lock their doors at night. I mean, I do, but like I could probably get away with not. Like that's the type of country we live in. I mean, unless you're living in Toronto or whatever, downtown Toronto, you probably should lock your doors. But we're trusting people, and people are frustrated that trust was abandoned and misused. So I think it's kind of like when you're walking on your tippy toes, right? I'm sure if I tried walking on my tippy toes around the block, I could probably do it around the block, but eventually it gets tiring and you just want to put your feet down in reality. And I think that's what it has been for a lot of people. They just figured, I just got to be on my tippy toes and run this until the pandemic's over. I'll do my part. But people are getting tired because they don't see an end to the restrictions of our freedoms. I mean, I just heard this, and this is kind of blowing my mind a little bit. And maybe you guys can confirm. I heard that Alberta, which under Danielle Smith, I was optimistic for, right? I heard that they're going to be one of the first provinces to test these 15-minute cities. You guys know what these 15-minute cities are all about? Dividing us into districts so that we can only go certain distances to get our groceries, our supplies, whatever we need, so that we don't expand on our carbon footprint. That's what I heard, that Alberta's looking to have one of the first 15-minute cities. I don't know where. But yeah. Anyways, let's see your comments here. Pinto Sack, yes, it took a lot to wake me up. Yeah, I'm interested in your guys' story. How blind were you guys? Like, I try to be fair and try to think back to when I start this term, wake up. When was I fully awake? What's your story? Pinto Sack says it took a lot. It took a lot to wake you up. For me, are we talking about the pandemic? I think from the very start. Well, here's the thing. When you're paying attention, and I talk a lot about this, when you're paying attention to specifically politics and the players that are involved, I was very into American politics. And when you get to know how certain people act and what they react to, you learn to just go the opposite way of them. So early on in the pandemic, when certain people were saying certain things, I went in the opposite direction, just went with what I always knew, and I ended up being right. And that's all we'll say, because we're on YouTube, folks. We're on YouTube. And yes, I've been getting suggestions to go to Rumble. I think we're a bit too small of a channel to really worry about that right now. I mean, it's hard enough getting people to tune in on YouTube. So maybe when we're bigger, I don't know. It does cost. That's another reason. There's a monthly cost to go live. Vikram Singh says, yes. Okay, so that was Vikram. That wasn't Pinto Sack. Sorry. Awesome. I'd love to know your guys' stories. So Linby says, yes, just 20 years with a third anniversary. Kelsey Lanan says, it took a lot for Canadians to get angry. Yes. Yes. That, I don't know about you guys, but that seems to be natural for me. It takes a lot for me to get angry. People really have to be, they either have to say something like, they either have to insult my mother, or they have to be consistently nagging me for me to finally break. I've always been like that. People have always said that you're a very patient guy, Brandon. So I don't know if you guys are like that, but maybe there's some sort of Canadian gene in us. I don't know. Luis Goenlock says, yep, a new recruit. Len B, we're raised and brainwashed to be trusting our government because they use language such as authorities and experts to convince us that their rhetoric is actually truth. Yeah. Yep. Then they violate that trust. 15-minute cities are all about control. 15-minute city is the new and improved concentration camp. Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. Canada produces less than 4% of the world's carbon. I think with Trudeau at the helm, patience has worn thin. Sure has. It sure has. 15-minute prison. That's a good characterization. Pintasang, I was fooled by 9/11 and the weapons of mass destruction lie. That was a big wake up for me. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So I was probably only, how old was I then? I'm 1991. So I was 10 years old. Yeah, I was 10 years old at that time, so I wasn't really paying attention to politics. Stream simultaneously on YouTube and Rumble, then switch midstream to Rumble. Yeah. Yeah, Viva Frey does that. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think I can't remember if I have tried that. No, I've never tried it because, yeah, like I said, there's a cost to it. But I think it'll be something, maybe when I get to 20,000 subscribers, maybe I'll do that. So yeah, if you're not subscribed, subscribe, share this out. We actually hit 13,000 subscribers a couple days ago, which was a really good milestone. Happy to be there. What does Rumble charge? That's a good question. For some reason, $20 a month is sticking out to me. I can't remember exactly. Dodger 7896. I never understood why anyone listened. I remembered hearing about a virus every year in high school and thought, what's different? Right? See, that's too much. That's too much common sense there, buddy, Mr. Dodger. Great to have you, by the way. It's I think that's the first time I've ever seen you here. So great to have you. You say in the first place, no one cared. There's a lot of things that when I was in high school, I didn't ever hear about, like this whole LGBTQ nonsense. I never even thought about that stuff. Like I didn't know anybody. I mean, if they were, they kept it to themselves, and nobody was. I mean, to my understanding, no one was bullied about it. But now it's so rampant. It's so rampant in our schools, and I don't know. I think people they're just desperate for drama. There's always got to be something negative happen in their life so that they can complain about it. I think that's definitely a huge part of it, in my opinion. All right, so I'm going to play. Just give me one moment. Oh yes, this is Tucker Carlson. Search it. All right, there it is. So I wanted to share this with you guys. Tucker Carlson asking a very legitimate and honest question, and I share his sentiments. All right, here we go.
I mean, why should we stand back and let our biggest trading partner, the country with which we share the longest border, and actually, I could just say a great country. I love Canada. I've always loved Canada because of its natural beauty. Why should we let it become Cuba? Like, why don't we liberate it? We're spending all this money to liberate Ukraine from the Russians. Why are we not sending an armed force north to liberate Canada from Trudeau? And I mean it. I mean, why should we stand back and let our biggest trading partner, the country with which we share the longest border, and actually, I could just say a great country. I love Canada. I've always loved Canada.
Is that playing
because of its
again?
natural beauty.
I think that's.
Why
looping.
should we let it become Cuba? Like, why don't we liberate it? We're spending
Might as
all
well
this
listen
money
to it
to
twice.
liberate Ukraine from the Russians. Why are we not sending an armed force north to liberate Canada from Trudeau? And I mean it.
Played that twice, but isn't it true? Like, why are you focused on Ukraine? Come help us. I'd surrender. Well, maybe, I don't know. Under Joe Biden, maybe not. Someone like Trump, I'd throw the white hanky up. Like, come take us. Like, we need help. Excuse me. Just $20 a month. I will pay for you. We need to get away from the censorship. Plus, I want to do a vaccine. Oh, blah, blah. Won't say that out loud. And it can't be done here. Yeah, you're right. I'll have to look into that because I honestly don't know how much it is. That's just what's sticking out in my head. $20 a month. I can look into that. I actually revamped the Momentum Canada Rumble page, so you can actually go there. And what is it? Is it called subscribe or you rumble it? I don't even know the lingo over there. But yeah, let's dig into that, Lynn B. I'll be messaging you. She says, please remember to like this video to feed the algorithms and then share it out to help grow the channel. Thanks for your help. Awesome. Thank you, Lynn B. Please know that YouTube takes 30% of all donations. We are not government sponsored. Every dollar helps. Please help support the channel. Yeah. Tucker is great. Yep. Agree with Tucker. Yeah. And speaking of how you guys can support the channel, I have an ad that I'm going to play. This is for my new book. And right after the ad, I'm going to bring in John because John Mallett is here. He's going to join us. We're going to have a little chit chat and we'll keep up with this chat. All right. So be right back.
A Prayer for Walton Bay, a novel based in the area of Kingston, Ontario in the late 1800s. This story was inspired from the desire to see Canada return to its simple roots after seeing such division during the pandemic in recent years. Available now on Amazon, this book will help fund our efforts here at Momentum Canada, since we are not government funded. Rather than just ask for money, I wanted to give you something wholesome for you to enjoy as well. So place your order today and enjoy a great story for such a time as this.
Right on. Yeah. Very excited for you guys to read that. So right now I'm going to bring in Mr. John Mallett. I'll get him to give me a thumbs up if he's all ready to go. And yeah, he was actually downtown Ottawa and during the convoy and the protests. So I'm excited to have this guy on the show. And so let's bring him in. John, how you doing?
Pretty good. Not
Yeah?
too bad. I was thinking about writing myself a book as well.
Yeah.
Except, I'm not like smart like you, so I'm just going to use ChatGPT to do it. I'm going to get the AI to just hook me up.
You've been dabbling with that. What's it called again? I can't never remember
It's interesting. It's the link I believe is like OpenAI Chat GPT, something like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
Google.
It's scary.
It and get to it there. They had it when I was a kid,
right?
Because school would have been a breeze, but it is what it is.
I don't know how they're gonna
still fiddling around with it, but it's been
yeah,
I got a bit of a delay going on.
Yeah, I think we got a delay between us, but
Fun
yeah,
stuff.
I don't know how teachers are gonna navigate this whole new thing with trying to eliminate cheating.
They're not going to. That's, I mean, you can ask this thing to write it in any style you want. I've asked it to write things as if Jordan Peterson said them, and it's pretty bang on. It's interesting. You cannot get it to be offensive, though. I've tried.
Oh man, so it's Trudeau approved. All right, so we got some comments here. Let me just catch up on the comments. We got
some leftist bias. I asked. No.
Are we frozen?
But yeah, I had asked for a satirical article on how. Not anymore, no. But I had asked for a satirical article for men on how to calm their wives down. It did not like that.
Oh dear!
It told me that it couldn't do it. One of the reasons was that because it's just like kind of ignoring the feelings of that person, and it's interesting. We'll see where AI goes, but it's good times. But yeah, other than that, it's been a weekend just pouring video and pictures, so on from Ottawa.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, and so yesterday was actually the actual anniversary because it was the 29th, right? It was on a Saturday last year, but it was a Sunday this year. But did you do anything special? Did you have a little cheers?
Yeah. Not particularly special, no. I just kind of spent some time going over my own video and kind of remembering like that was, there's like so many parts to it, right? There was the driving down the overpasses. That was an incredible thing.
Yeah.
Just that feeling that kind of led you towards Ottawa. It was an exciting feeling that was just in the air. And then when we first got there, we actually went ahead of the convoy. We had driven with them up until I think about Toronto.
Right.
I was planning on going to party there, and then we're going especially because I kind of wanted to have that view coming in. And what was really cool is we showed up there the night before, and it was Wendell Thorndike was the only one there, and he's the big old F Trudeau truck.
Right.
And it was funny walking up to Parliament, seeing just that one single truck there. And then there was also a small crowd that was kind of gathered around the flame on Parliament Hill, and it was just kind of like a calm before the storm. And boy, was it! It was a good time.
Right. Yes. And so you shared some video footage that you got when you were down there. So I have it on here on the screen. I was going to play it through for you. Get your comments after.
I can tell you that right now. I will say, though, one thing that a bit dangerous about the whole Ottawa situation.
I'm losing you there. I didn't quite pick up what you said. I think we got a terrible internet connection or something.
Yeah, it seems a little choppy. That's the fun part about live, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, always. Yeah, so that was just the one, but I went to the wrong one there.
There's a bunch.
I love this guy.
That's for sure. I've been.
This is fucking downtown Ottawa. Hope you fucking see this, Trudeau, you piece of shit.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah, there may be some bad language. That's the uncensored version. All right. So saw that one.
There's
a lot of uncensored.
Downtown starting to get a little gridlocky. There's a lot of traffic down here now. Hell yeah. Fuck Trudeau!
Cool.
It's a hell of a traffic report.
Yeah. Makes you miss it though. Seeing all that snow and the flags and
What I do in the honking. You know what? I wish that I could have had some of that phantom honking that they were talking about at the inquiry, like those folks that were crying and whining and like upset.
Yeah.
I don't have phantom honking, and I'm upset that I don't, because it was a good thing to, especially there was actually times where truckers had kind of work together and create songs.
Yeah.
that was when it was like getting next level. Yep. Like you could tell that they were just pull them, and they would actually work together, create beats. It was a cool thing to be a part of, right? I mean, one thing I had said to somebody is that I think the left hated us is because there was actual diversity going on in that protest.
Yeah.
Of course, media and Trudeau wanted to say, "Oh, it's just a bunch of white supremacists," but you had the Native community was out. You had immigrants, the Polish immigrants especially. Don't mess with them. That's what I learned throughout this experience, is that you don't mess with Polish women. They're pretty strong-headed. It was just this massive melting pot of what was Canada. And like remembering what we were taught in high school of what were, it was like that was the first time I actually felt like that. And it was interesting to see just all the different people that came out, right? Like it wasn't a political thing, it wasn't a religious thing, it wasn't a race thing, it wasn't anything. It was just a bunch of pissed off people that wanted their freedom.
Yep. Yeah, from every profession, it seemed, like nurses, even doctors, lawyers, tradesmen, everybody.
No, I even ran into somebody from Mexico.
Yeah.
They said they literally it was the weekend that Max and the PPC did their pancake breakfast.
Oh yeah.
I was on my way to the pancake breakfast and just happened to run in to these two guys who were from Mexico, and I was asking them if they were going for the pancakes. They said no, they had to leave. They were heading back home. I was like, "Oh, where are you from?" They're like, "Oh, we're from Mexico. We just wanted to come down here because we wanted to be a part of history." I was like, "That's insane. That's absolutely insane." But it was cool at the same time, and that was the Ottawa though. It was one festival.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to ask you, because I heard I didn't go down to Ottawa. I felt my best use was online trying to correct the narrative, because I was seeing it spin this way and that. But I definitely heard that from everybody that went. There was something in them that said, "I can't explain it, but I just have to go to Ottawa. Like I don't know what it is, but I just have to go." Did you experience something like that, where it's just like I have to be a part of this?
Yeah, but I don't. It's not as strange for me though, right? I mean, I'm kind of, I guess, rebellious. That like that kind of my mentality. I've said to people, like, I'm built for this, right? Like this is the culmination of my life. Is like this right here where, you know, me what to do. And I'm like, don't think so, bud. So it's not so strange that I would want to go do it.
Right.
But I do see where there are a lot of others though that, yeah, it was just, they were pushed so much that they finally broke, and we're like, we're going. Like, for me, it was excitement, right? I was finally happy to see pushing back, and finally happy to see that, you know, there was some folks that maybe saw some common sense and understood a reality, and kind of saw through, I guess, all of the rules and BS that was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. So where do you see us right now? Like, so truckers kind of blew the lid off of corruption, in my opinion, here in Canada. And I'd like to believe that it's woken up so many people. Where do you think we're standing right now in terms of all that?
I mean, I think that it did wake some up. Like, I think that, as an example, there was a video going around, maybe 20-ish, I think. It was talking about mass psychosis, and how they get that done. And I can remember one of the things in the video it stated is that, you know, you need those people that are just going to speak out and stand up in order to, I guess, influence others to do it, right? So as in the idea of lockdowns isolated us from everybody else, and in many cases we may not have been able to see that other people didn't agree with the narrative, so those were less likely to fight it. Right. I think that kind of something like what the truckers did, it was right there in your face and miss it, and I think that a lot of people saw that, and it did inspire a lot, to kind of step out their comfort zone, maybe get in a car and head to Ottawa, or at the very least hit up an overpass.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm just thinking, like, I wonder what things would look like right now if the trucker protest didn't happen. Like, where would we be? Would we just be at a bigger boiling point and see an even bigger protest? I don't know.
That's a good question.
Right?
It's a good question. I think we would still be in a situation where I think certain dates probably still exist. I mean, if we didn't, I don't think that given that the suspension of them or whatnot, and then eventually just dropping them. But what the thing that I am kind of wondering about though is, are we even done? Are we even done? There was an article where the World Health Organization is going to address whether or not they believe that this is a health pandemic or whatnot. And Theresa Tam right off the top saying, you know, it doesn't matter what the WHO says.
Yeah.
I will make that determination. I'm paraphrasing, I'm not quoting, but that was basically what she said, is that regardless of what the WHO says, Canada will have its own determination. Like, oh, yeah. So we only listen to WHO when it suits us, I guess.
Yeah. And I saw an article, I think it was from the Daily Wire. Someone shared it in one of our groups on Facebook, that they want to collate with other voices on our side of the aisle to kind of contradict what the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum is trying to unravel across the world. So they're trying to form this alliance of the opposite opinion, which I was just like, yes, like that's what we need. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. Just gonna.
Yeah, no, it's just, I don't know. I think it's always good to have a little bit of pushback to inspire those, because I think there's still a lot of people that are relatively silent, right? Yeah. I think that they see through it, but don't want to, I guess, rock the boat. Don't want to be ostracized. Don't want to be whatever the case may be, right?
No one naturally does, I don't think. Like, I don't think. Well, besides you say you're built for it, but people, I think, generally, people naturally don't like ruffling people's feathers, right? Especially Canadians.
Not typically. And I wouldn't necessarily say that it's just that I like ruffling feathers. I like ruffling the feathers that need to be ruffled. Let's go there.
Yeah.
But, like I get it. I mean, it's always, you know, I don't particularly care if I'm liked or not. So I'll say something if I think that's the way it is, and it's not difficult for me. I can see where it is difficult for others, though.
Oh yeah, 100%. So I wanted to bring up this happened on Saturday, I believe, in Ottawa. I think our little chat on Facebook was talking a little bit about it, but I'll bring this up and then we can talk about it. Where is it? I need a producer, John. Boom, there
no, it's a lot harder when you got to do it yourself. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Howard! Hey, that's my flag! Let go of him! Hey, what the fuck? That's my flag! That is my flag! Give me my flag! Give me my flag! That's my flag! I'll take my flag back!
Taking their way, the only way they know how.
That flag means I want my flag back. I want my flag back. You got flag back. Do not talk.
So I don't understand the music, but clearly someone's been.
That's what I call Trudeau's Canada.
Yeah. So my understanding is that the flag was too big.
Yeah, that's just. That's not what she said. But that's just Trudeau's Canada, you know. Waving flags will get you arrested. Although I do know they were let go, but like, come on, really, too big? Too big? What the hell is too big? I did not know that there were legal regulations on the size of your flag.
Yeah.
What law is that? Somebody show me that. Should we get the Loblaws down there in trouble? Because they got a massive flag.
Yeah. Well, can you picture this happening at like a pride event? A flag being too big?
No, it wouldn't.
No.
There would be no absolute, because they would be so worried about the PR nightmare. And that's another thing that kind of pisses me off, is just the way that we, you know, so let's not do that one, but we can do it over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of dumb, but
yeah,
is what it is, I suppose. But yeah, I do know that they did release that kid, though. He is only 16, by the way.
Oh, really? Okay, well, that's good. At least they don't have him in.
Yeah, no, I've been checking out a few things on Facebook over that. I believe that's the only real incident that happened with the celebration there. But at the same time, it's, I don't know, like I said, I made the joke, it goes Canada, you wave a flag and you can be arrested. Which is some of the most ridiculous stuff I've seen, really. Flag waving being a crime in any way.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and this morning when I was prepping for the show, because I'm always trying to reach the people who are just blind or sleeping, and or people who are on the fence. And I dug up this old, I think it's CTV News, and I just wanted to play something to kind of show the narrative that was shown to the masses. So I want to play it right now, because I think people are still locked into this narrative mindset. So just to kind of evoke conversation right now, I want to share that. Just give me 1 second. This is essentially what the mass has been fed since day one of the protests.
There has been vandalism to buildings, statues, and memorials in the nation's capital and at one downtown shelter. As CTV's Jackie Perez reports, many in the community are speaking out against these actions and finding ways to offer support.
It started as a protest for vaccine mandates and COVID-19 restrictions. But in the last 24 hours, the so-called Freedom Convoy has disrupted many areas in the downtown core, including this homeless shelter.
They came to our soup kitchen demanding meals, harassing staff and volunteers, and we had a person who's using our services who was assaulted.
In response, Ottawa residents banded together, offering a helping hand and donating to the shelter. At one point Sunday, traffic to the site was so high, it crashed.
The events are unfortunate. Often, though, when difficult things happen, good things come of them. And
it's not just the Shepherds of Good Hope receiving that community support.
So we have started to see several $1,000s come in since this whole episode began.
This whole episode of the Royal Canadian Legion is referring to footage from this weekend showing a person dancing on the tomb of the unknown soldier and vehicles parked on the site of the National War Memorial.
We must show respect at all times to the individuals who died for our country. And I was deeply, deeply disturbed when I saw those images.
This weekend, disturbing images of the Terry Fox statue by Parliament Hill surfaced.
Anti-mask signs and upside-down Canadian flags at the Terry Fox
Good
statue.
now?
This kind of behavior sets back any positive movements or support that this rally might have.
Since then, many social media users say they made a donation to the Terry Fox Foundation.
it was a very difficult day for everybody.
The Shepherds of Good Hope says the donations have more than covered the meals intended for the most vulnerable. While these protests have made the past few days challenging to do their job, they say they're touched by the messages of support
I can hear you.
been given to their staff.
And this is another example, and the community has been outstanding. We're very, very grateful for that.
Jackie Perez, CTV News.
You there? I think you're frozen.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're just you're very frozen on the screen, so.
Hearing it.
Let me try something. Taking you out. Oh, now you're gone completely. All right, we'll give John a few minutes here to figure out what's wrong with his connection. Get him to join the dashboard again. So that was CTV. That was just like the overall narrative of what was pumped out there 24/7 during the trucker convoy. And so if you're seeing stuff like that, no wonder you're angry. On the opposite side of things, angry at the protesters. Like if that's what you're consuming all day. Here's John again. Are you there? Oh, I see you now.
Yeah. All right, we're back.
We're back.
Interwebs was messing.
Yeah,
it's angled up there, and we're good to go now. Though.
Did you catch the video though?
No, it froze up on me, and I'm like, all right, whatever. I guess I'll just close out, come back in, and we'll go from there. But there's a will, there's a way. I tell you what.
So essentially, it was CTV reporting on the truckers how it was reported that they went to a homeless shelter demanding food, and the defacing of the Terry Fox Memorial. And then there was a woman jumping up and down on the tomb of the unknown soldier. So there's like these reactions of people saying like this was horrifying, just something they weren't proud of as Canadians to watch. So this is what was pumped out 24/7, this type of stuff. So I'm saying like, no wonder if that's what you're consuming, no wonder you were frustrated and showed up to counter protest. What's your response to?
Yes and no, but I think there's also a little bit of sensation on with it as well. Like I'll say the woman on the tomb of the unknown soldier. Okay, that wasn't anything that anybody was happy about. So I'll give that one. The Terry Fox statue, though, really? Are we really gonna say that? Because if you can look with eyes and logic, that is far from defacing. Far from.
Yeah.
It's no different. There's a number of instances where things have been laid on that statue or what have you. And also just having been there and seeing on the ground what was going on, like the streets were shoveled, right? Weren't getting plows. The city wasn't coming in and doing it.
Yep.
Right. It certainly wasn't the cops doing it. And it wasn't Antifa. It wasn't any of these other people. It was the folks involved with the protest. They shoveled, they cleaned up garbage. That was actually one of the things that I had noticed and thought was the craziest thing is that when I looked around, there was no garbage. Right. Because I am just somebody humanity. And I always figure that in large gatherings, people just some reason cannot find a garbage can. In this instance, and I don't think I really noticed that garbage was supposed to be these big piles of garbage throughout the downtown area, and it was like that realization that garbage on the ground. Any of that, they're drinking something off, and for whatever reason, 3 weeks down there, people partying.
Yeah,
not a whole lot of problem.
Yeah. Good point. All right, let's tap into some comments here. Friendly reminder,
and I've said this before as well.
Yeah, go for it. I think we got a delay going on here.
Yeah, I agree with Lynn there. Yeah, we do, but I agree with Lynn there. Jumping on the tomb definitely wasn't cool, but at the same time, would it hurt?
Well, Justin's kind of doing the same thing metaphorically. We got you frozen again, buddy. That's okay, though. Please use... Okay, yeah. Thank you, Lynn, for being the moderator.
I like that.
Good afternoon,
guys. And actually, Lynn, you minus one too. I've got another one where... Oh, yeah, nice. Paul Bissonnette, is that the Paul Bissonnette? That can't be the Paul Bissonnette, can
it? Are you the Paul Bissonnette? Let us know. Prove it. All right, we got some Vikram Singh. The government needed things to attack the truckers with and back up with they were saying. So things and MSM media were planted to discredit the protesters. It was and has been a dirty game. Yes, I don't know how to say it. Pinocchio. Pinocchio knows. We know that they dumb men never forget. People on overpasses all the way. Canada lives, not Justin Trudeau.
Pinocchio
mentality. I think we're like there's like a 10-second lag between us. Kelsey Lanan, I saw one picture on that mainstream media of a little pile of garbage that blew into a corner. Probably wasn't even taken where the protest was. That rich spoiled brat of a prime minister has to go ASCP. We're wrong to have supported him if we ever did. Nope, I never did. John, did you ever support out with it?
I mean, I agree with Lynn. I agree with Lynn there. Yeah, I agree with Lynn there. Jumping on the tomb. Definitely wasn't cool, but at the same time, would it hurt? Well, I mean,
You're frozen. You're frozen. That's all right.
It's the
That's all right.
only time in my life that I have overpaid for pot.
Yikes.
That's it.
That's it.
And like overpaid by a lot.
Yeah.
But I will say it was only 2016. That was the only time. After 2016, no, he screwed up big time. And I didn't even really want to go for 2016, but to me, legalization was a pretty big issue because of how much waiting in prosecution offenses, so on and so forth. And I thought that was a really good thing. Hindsight being what it is, I would rather hide my doobies than have voted for him.
Yeah. There's probably so many people that feel that way because that was a huge reason that they liked them.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of us that regret it. There is definitely a lot of us that regret it. There is no question. Was it worth it? I think that, you know, we probably could have got away with having it illegal for more years for somebody to do it. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know, hindsight is what it is, and you don't see it at the time. And let's face it, I think he did a better job appearing like a decent human being than he does.
We're not catching everything you're saying because you're going in and out. But it's 1 o'clock, so that's how long I do my streams for. John, I was sharing earlier that we're working on getting you on the channel, giving you your own segment. And you and I were talking about ideas, and you want to share what we came up with?
Oh, I figure acceptable view. I got a way to stay within community standards, though. That's tricky. It's real tricky.
Yeah, it is.
Like even the slightest little thing.
Welcome to the club. But we're going to be firing up a Rumble channel too. So
I'll create a bunch of keywords. That's what I'll do. Like Christia Freeland.
Yep. Yeah. So we do have quite the wicked delay here.
Freeland, I think now it's my little workaround because I get because I like to. We'll see you next Tuesdays, but
yeah. Right on. So so we got quite the wicked delay here. So we'll shut her down. And thank you, John, for jumping on. I know that was last minute, but it was a fun show. Happy anniversary for the trucker convoy. I hope you guys are remembering all the good that's come from it. I know we're still in a frustrating battle. Go for it.
Everything I do is last minute.
Yeah. Well, right on. Thank you guys so much. If you're not subscribed, I encourage you to subscribe, like the video, share, all that.
All right.
And thank you guys. Yeah, if you want to go on over to Rumble, we're under Momentum Canada. We don't have anything up yet. I think I have one video up, but just so that you can find it. But we will be looking into how we can talk more freely, and Rumble seems to be that option. So I look forward to that. We'll be keeping you guys updated. I saw someone asked for time in regards to John's segment. We don't have that decided yet, but we're still feeling things out and trying to formulate.
Organized. To be. Yeah, TBD.
TBD. But thank you guys again. Take care. Thank you, John. Bye for now.